Hello, Jen here. Today I have a fall layout for you. So it's hard to see in the video, but I actually have a bunch of leaves um, die cut into this paper from my silhouette, and I'm just sort of splotching on a bunch of paint. I'm using my paintbrush and some Jane Davenport paints to sort of um, get some really big bold color, and then as the paper fills up I'll start using the smushing technique to kind of fill in some of those spaces and give the leaves a little bit of that mottled multicolored look that fall leaves get. So I borrowed the idea from Missy Whedon to keep my die cuts on the silhouette mat, and I really like that idea. It held everything together really nicely as I was painting it, and I felt like this paper, which is just some Stampin' Up! White cardstock, it could take a lot more water and a lot more playing around because it was being held down by the mat. So I also have that word family. I thought I might use it, but I don't. I'm still going to go ahead and color it though, so you can see how now that I've got most of the leaves covered with at least one color, I can go back in now and sort of mix up some of those colors and smush some color around, and I felt that this worked really good to sort of give that mottled fall leafy look. So I have some orange and green and yellow and red, and it's a mixture of the watercolors and some of these sprays. And of course, those are mixtures too. So there's some Heidi Swap in there. There is, what else? There's some shimmers. One of them is a recollection spray. There's all kinds of stuff. I pulled it all out. Alright, so once I had all of my leaves painted and I let them dry really, really good before trying to take them off of the mat. It was my very first time using that mat, so they stuck quite a bit. I probably should have put the mat on my jeans or something like that just to get a little bit of that extra stickiness, but I finally got them all off. And those are all cuts that I got for free. So some of them I think came from Paper Issues maybe. And I don't remember, but I can leave links down below. I'll try and find where I got these different leaf images, and I can leave those for you down below. So now I just want to put a little bit of white gesso on this paper because the brown is such a dark, deep color, and my picture is quite dark. So I wanted to be able to do a little bit of smushing around, but I needed that gesso. And you can see here that the paints, they're sprays, they really don't want to stand out on the gesso. So I'll skip over it, but I'll leave just a little bit in. It takes me a long time to really get this to look the way I want it to look. My end goal is to make it look like I have a pile of leaves on either side of the picture. So I wanted to fill in some of that space in behind the leaves and in behind the picture. So I play around a little bit here and I just keep adding color. I want to make sure that the colors blend a little bit. My orange wasn't working as a spray. So I want to make sure they blend a little bit, but I also want to be able to see each of those individual colors here and there. So I kind of just played around and let it sit and dry, then came back to it, and eventually I kind of got the look that I liked. So here's my picture. It is my 3 kids and 3 of my nieces and nephews. My youngest niece was too little to sit in that tree, but she was there in the background with us. And so I'm just going to mat it on a few different pieces of paper. This all comes from Fall is in the Air collection, which is Echo Park. There we go. And we took a ton of pictures this day. We try to go out every Thanksgiving and take some nice fall pictures with all the kids. So I've been trying to use up this collection to document all of those pictures. It's from a couple of years ago now. And I have a few little bits and pieces here from other layouts that I've done. And I just wanted to bring in some of the bold color because I've used all pattern. And then with all the leaves, I thought that it might start to all blend together a little bit. So here you can see it was dry, and now I want to add in some yellow because I feel like the yellow got lost a little bit. And then some orange and some of that green. It's like a shimmery green from Heidi Swap. And then of course more red. Then I blotted up some of that red because it kind of, I don't know, it looks like someone had blood all over my layout, which is gross. So, but I put it all back in again because I really needed that bold color. The red was sort of the deepest color out of those, and so it needed to be there. Yeah. So I'm using this piece of paper. It came from one of the papers in the collection, just was strips of patterns. So I cut this one off, and I'm going to sort of use it like a shelf for my picture and all of the leaves to sit on. And before I put my picture down, I just want to put a little bit of foam behind it, and that's just some kids craft foam. My tape runner ran out, so I'm using this little guy. So it doesn't give it a lot of dimension, but it pops it up enough that I can tuck some leaves in behind, and there's a bit of a shadow. Now here are all of the leaves that I cut out and painted, and I'm just sort of sorting them so that before I start gluing down, I have a good mix of shapes and colors on both sides. And then I'm just going to start gluing them down. I'm sort of keeping all the bigger ones to the back, and then I'll fill in the gaps with all the little ones. And I'm tucking them in randomly here and there. At first I was trying to pick out the ones that I thought turned out the best or the colors that I liked, but I kind of liked them all. They all had their own redeeming qualities or parts of them that were really cool looking. And it was too hard to make sure that all of that was sort of showing front and center, so I just started gluing. And I'm going to stick them all down, and you can see because I cut so many outlined leaves that having that bit of color in the back really helped to sort of fill in that space so it wasn't just dark brown behind all of the leaves. And it just takes me a second to sort of fill in all of those spaces. You can see I have a whole bunch there. And I have a few little hearts. Some of the leaves have outlined hearts, so I kept the centers of them, and I'm going to put those in too just to fill in some gaps. Once you kind of get going, it's really easy to make these piles look nice. And I'm using Scotch Quick Dry, or I guess no, it's tacky glue now, that's what it's called. And you can see that I'm not putting glue all over the leaves. I want them to pop up in different places, so I'm sort of just trying to stick to the center, and with some of those outlined ones I'm just putting a few dots sort of randomly here and there, enough glue to make sure that they're being held down, but not so much that I can't kind of pop up some of those edges and really give them dimension and make them look like a real pile of leaves. So I'm just about done. We didn't really do too much fall stuff this year. Our trip this summer kind of took all of our energy, and so September and October have just sort of been spent at home hanging out and trying to get into the new school routine. So it was kind of fun to be able to pull these pictures out from a couple years ago and get them scrapped, because normally we do a lot of fall stuff. There, so you can see I'm just tucking things in. And now I have these two here. One is the heart leaf and one says love. And I kind of wanted to pull that out somewhere else just to put a little cluster somewhere other than those leaves. And this is the sticker sheet that goes along with the collection. And I thought it might be nice to have a couple of leaves that are a different texture. Again, just for interest's sake. So I pulled these off of the sticker sheet, and I was going to tuck them into the pile, but I just felt like they were getting lost and there really wasn't a point. So I'm going to put them here on the edge of the picture, and I think that really draws your eye back into the picture as the main focus. Ooh, the sun came out. Can you see that? Suddenly my screen is a whole lot brighter. And this is another row from that, or I guess they're rows, from that same sheet where that leaf paper came from that I'm putting this on top of. And so I'm just going to use this as my title. And I felt like it wasn't popping off of the yellow well enough, or sorry, the leaf paper well enough. So just by happy coincidence, when that other row fell down, I liked the way that the orange jumped off of the yellow, so I just layered the two of them together. I have tons of those acorns. They're really cute, but I have tons of them on the sticker sheets and stuff like that, so I'm not too sad about losing that. And I'm just going to glue that down. I just pulled out some of my liquid glue because my tape runner had run out and it was just easier. And now I'll put these cute little leaves down as a little cluster here. Just breaks up the page a little bit, and so your eye now has a few different places to look at instead of just all focused on those leaves in the center. And to finish up, I'm going to do some gold Heidi I almost said Heidi Shine again. Heidi Swap gold color shine. And a few of these little leaf sequins. These are a really, really old confetti pack, I think. I don't even remember where I got them from. But they are orange, red, and gold maple leaf confetti. So I thought it would be nice to give the page a little bit of shine, so I tucked a few of those in. And then a little bit of sequins. So these are Spiegel Mom scraps, and I really like the red ones in that Painted Garden mix. So I'm going to pull out the red ones. The purple are really nice too, but they won't go with this layout. Although purple is a really nice fall color, so I'm kind of thinking I might do that for my next one. And then I'm going to use a different mix as well to get a few more sequins. I just like the way they kind of shine. Here you go. So it's called Sugar Maple, which is perfect for fall, so you can see all those gorgeous yellows and oranges. And I'm just going to scatter those throughout the leaves. And I find that what this did was sort of, it makes your eye look all throughout the leaves, and now you kind of see that they're not just a jumble of colors, they're individual things. Because there's a little texture and a little shine, and the sequins sort of forces some of the corners to pop up and stuff like that. And let's be honest, it's not really a layout by me if I haven't put some sequins somewhere. So I just picked out a few of each color. I didn't want to overwhelm it too much. And again, I'm using that quick dry glue. And we're all done. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for me down below. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.